Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I want to talk about how can Hinduism benefit self-development. Hinduism is a great way of life. It is a collection of texts, practices, rituals, and ideas that were developed by the ancient Rishis, who were profoundly wise and had invested their entire life and being into understanding the world and themselves. I have not found any texts that more profound than Upanishads, which are philosophical masterpieces. After reading such a text, one simply becomes a Hindu because glimpses of the self are experienced in these poetic rhythms. Of course, Hinduism is much more than just the Upanishads. It includes the caste system, the culture and tradition of ancient times, the rituals organized by the priests. It is also the worship of God in various forms, Saguna, and it is the meditation on the supreme sound. And it includes everything sacrifices, rituals, beliefs, and sometimes even superstitions that have naturally occupied the minds of many Hindus, especially those who lack intellectual rigor or logical training, have become very instinctive and primitive. Hinduism grows everything man can think of is found here: astrology, Ayurveda, Vastu, space sciences. In fact, in stricter terms, even the religions of Jainism and Buddhism are considered as various as part of this system of thought that we call Hinduism, or the eternal religion that is rising in Indian region. Uh, but without going into the critique of Hinduism, let us understand how it can benefit any normal 20 to 30-year-old person, what it says about life, and how it can really help you develop into a better man or woman. How it can help you answer some of the greatest questions of life, and above everything else, how you can strive to achieve peace and freedom from within this magnificent religion. Of course, you need not be a Hindu for this, because the term Hindu does not describe a person, it describes an eternal principle. A Hindu was, a Hindu ever was, and ever will be. In, in the truest sense, the investigation is very hard because it requires deep study of the Vedas and the Upanishads, along with many different schools that have developed and will continue developing as long as time exists. But this can be made easier. My job can be made easier by focusing on four main figures of Hinduism: Patanjali of Yoga Sutras, Sri Krishna of Bhagavad Gita, Adi Shankaracharya, and Shiva. Hinduism is a home to great characters and saints, highly evolved beings, and extremely enlightened and intelligent sages and priests. My selection of these four does not do justice to all the other prophets and saints of Hinduism like Ramanuja, Kabir, Sai Baba, and, and numerous other great enlightened beings that have existed in this region of India and even outside of India now more than ever. But for this particular exploration, we will look at these four. I have chosen Sri Krishna for the bhakti aspect and the profound wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, which, if studied deeply by a student, can instantly bring clarity to one's confused life. I have chosen Shankaracharya for his deep exposition of the Upanishads and great texts like Dirghadeshya Viveka and Aproksha Anubhuti, and his commentaries on the Brahma Sutras. All the books will be mentioned down below, all the texts, and I have chosen Shiva for his magnificence, for the number of tantric texts attributed to him, and for the strong presence he holds in the Puranas and the various traditions developed around him. Shiva is everywhere in India, and every Shiva Bhakt is proud to be his Bhakta. Tantra especially has developed out of many texts that are attributed to yogic, to Shiva. Many texts like Vijnana Bhairava, Shiva Samhita, they all attribute their knowledge to Lord Shiva. I have chosen Patanjali, of course, for his contribution to yoga and Ayurveda, which we can utilize in self development to a great extent. Even as I speak, I am recalling a great many other saints whose teachings can deeply move and transform you, and these four selections are really not capable of justifying their own teachings. But let us assume that for this particular video, let us go deeper into these four main pillars of Hinduism. Shiva Tantra, in Shiva Tantra, we have the Puranas are they are mythical stories full of imagination, and they form the base of many Indian traditions. The 12 Jyotirlingas are the pilgrimage sites of honor. The form of the Shivalinga is closest to the Nirvikara formlessness. It is as close to the formless as form can become. The various stories of the Puranas and the Agamas are deeply embedded into Hindu culture. Rituals, temple designs, and sacred spaces have all been described in the Agamas and other tantric texts. Above all, Shiva is believed to be the founder of yoga. He is the father of this land. All branches of spiritual evolution in India ultimately go back to him. No one knows for certain whether Shiva existed as a historical figure, but the vast literature around him, including texts like Vijnana Bhairava, which includes 112 meditation methods, pathways to realize this higher consciousness, and various other yogic texts lead us to believe that Shiva was in some way the or greatest yogi who developed himself and delved deeply into himself and created such vast wisdom out of it. Of course, he is believed to be the destroyer of the worlds and is part of the trinity of gods in Hinduism: Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. But I leave that to the listeners' beliefs. The mythical character of Shiva really need not be believed in, but I leave that to the listener's belief. It is surely impossible to bring forth such vast wisdom from the universe without an immense consciousness behind it, intelligence behind it. Shiva is also associated with non-dual Shaiva Tantra, which is a radical and profound spiritual tradition. In Kashmir Shaivism, Shiva is not worshipped as an external god, but as the inner consciousness of the practitioner. He is the self, the pure awareness, the non-dual aspect of this life. Everything is his play. The world is not rejected as an illusion but embraced as divine expression. This tradition holds that liberation is not to be found by renouncing life, but by penetrating it fully with awareness through breath, body, sensation, emotion, desire, and even the chaos of life, one can attain the highest realization. This is why Shiva is not only the yogi in the Himalayas, he is also the lover, the dancer, the destroyer of ignorance. His energy is fierce, vast, and boundless. He is formlessness in form. He is the silence between thoughts and the awareness behind the mind. The walk, to walk the path, uh, to walk this path of Tantra is to walk a path of courage, depth, and direct contact with life itself. It is not for the faint hearted, it is for those who wish to realize the divine not in another world, but right here, right now. Shiva is the ultimate self. He is consciousness beyond the body, beyond religion, beyond concepts. He is the freedom that all beings are unknowingly, unconsciously searching for. We can take the meditations from the texts Vijnana Bhairava for our contemplation. Meditation on these various techniques brings about wisdom that's more profound than simply a technique or a book. These are all practices that deepen one's inner consciousness, and practices, if performed for a while, will bring about insights into your inner world. For example, the meditation on the chakras is one method, and even though one might not understand or feel these chakras intellectually in one's body, with practice one starts to realize the existence of these energy centers, and this is only one method out of 112 other methods. This will surely help us in knowing ourselves better and in self development. Shiva had also apparently discovered 84,000 yogic postures, observing nature, and each posture seems to have different benefits and alterations in the body and mind. We'll go deeper into these asanas in a later video. We can take the non-dual Shaiva Tantra philosophy and the meditation methods, and we can also take the the yogic postures as exercises that enhance our health and mental well-being for self-development. Moving to Sri Krishna, all of India loves Krishna for Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna in the middle of the battlefield, we find Sri Krishna speaking to a confused Arjuna. This battlefield is not just the war of the Mahabharata, it is the war within every one of us. Arjuna represents the seeker, the confused youth, the one standing on the edge of despair. Krishna's message is for all of us who have questioned life, the meaning of life. The Bhagavad Gita is a profound dialogue. Krishna explains the yogas, karma yoga, the yoga of action, the bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion, and jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge. He explains the play of three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, the qualities that bind our minds. He explains the differences between the body and the self, the transient and the eternal. To Arjuna, who is paralyzed by doubt, Krishna offers clarity. Do your duty without attachment to the results. Renounce the fruits of your actions. Surrender the ego. Work as an offering. Live in the present moment. Know that the self is untouched by joys and sorrow, birth and death. Krishna's words are not just philosophy. They are, they are, they are, trans, they are transformative. They are alive. He tells Arjuna that true intelligence is the one that renounces desire and stands rooted in the self. That intelligence is steady and unmoved, even in the face of chaos. He urges him to fight, not for glory, but to uphold truth. And then Arjuna asks Krishna to show his true form, and what he sees is beyond comprehension. Krishna reveals his cosmic self, where every being, every death, every god, every star, and every moment is contained within him. He is not just a man, he is existence itself. Krishna represents the bhakti path, but also much more. He is the art of devotion and clarity of reason. He is the divine friend who stands by your side, guiding you towards your highest nature. Shankaracharya, Shankaracharya, the master of Jnana Yoga, for those who cannot rely on emotions or rituals, for those whose mind seeks reason, Shankaracharya's path, his path is direct and clear. He speaks of Advaita, non-duality. He says that all that exists is Brahman, the one undivided reality. The world of appearances, names, and forms is transient. Behind it all, there is only one essence. He encourages self-inquiry. Who am I? Not the body, not the mind, not the emotions. Strip away every identity, every label, every thought, and what remains is pure awareness. Shankaracharya wrote profound commentaries on the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras. His clarity of thought, his logical precision, and his experiential insight make his teachings stand unmatched. He does not ask us to believe, he asks us to see clearly. He says that liberation is the realization that you are not bound, that the self has never been touched by sorrow, never been born, and never dies. He presents a vision of truth that is beyond a religion, truth that is immediate, intimate, and undeniable. To the serious seeker, Shankaracharya's teachings are a lamp in the dark. They dissolve confusion and bring forth the light of pure knowing. Patanjali. And finally, we have Patanjali, the scientist of the inner world. He gave us the Yoga Sutras, a manual of transformation. His system is practical, structured, and profound. He begins with ethics, yama and niyama, rules and regulations, non-violence, truthfulness, discipline, contentment. Then comes asana, posture, pranayama, breath control, pratyahara, withdrawal of senses, dharana, concentration, and dhyana, meditation. Finally leading us to samadhi, absorption. Absorption into what? One might ask. Absorption into our true nature. Each step, including the yamas and the niyamas, are rules and regulations that are necessary for purification. The asanas, the postures, are all methods to purify the body and mind, to make us more clear, to remove the impurities that we have been carrying along for a while, to remove the unhealthiness that we have carried. Each step is a purification, each practice takes us closer to silence. The goal is to quiet the mind to such an extent that we see the self reflected clearly. Patanjali does not speak of God, he is atheistic. He speaks of awareness. He does not promise heaven, he promises inner stillness and quietness. His path is not about belief, it is about direct experience and practical. Through yoga, we align the body, breath, and mind. We prepare ourselves to receive higher truths. Yoga becomes not just exercise, but a way of life, a spiritual unfolding. Patanjali's yoga and Ayurveda are tools of immense power. They help us live longer, think clearer, and move closer to liberation. The we the sutras, the yoga sutras, are a clear guidance to anybody who seeks clarity, enlightenment, and stillness. The lesser known fact about Patanjali is that he had also written immensely on Ayurveda. I'm going to make a deep guide on Ayurveda and the worldview of Ayurveda and how it can help us lead to a more profounder and spiritual lifestyle. So be sure to subscribe to my channel and you will be updated. Um, so together these four figures represent the best of Indian philosophy. Each shows us a path, each leads us to the same goal. Hinduism is not a dogma, it is a celebration of inner growth, of realization, of transformation. It offers poetry, logic, devotion, and meditation. It offers rituals and renunciation, gods and formlessness. And above all, it offers freedom, moksha,